Oh, yeah, I had to check. Yeah, I won again tonight. Been on fire this week. That's what I need. Straight up, that's what I need. The record business. Many people ask me about that. Absolutely. There's some things that's going on that's not LL Cool Joe. Oh man, what's up, Q? Well, they're looking at different things. Like when you look at the music industry, artists get stuck in a lot of ways. Normally, it's the initial contract that gets you stuck on the labels. The initial contract will get you stuck. When you don't read the verbiage of the contract and you don't understand points, you don't understand how you're actually getting paid. So when you don't understand how you're getting your money, that's always going to come back as a negative. You know, that's something your manager is supposed to know because you're already basically given power of attorney. In some contracts, you're writing off power of attorney to somebody else to handle your affairs. So the company's responsibility is only to pay you what's in that verbiage of that contract. Now, everything else is a loan. Okay? It's a loan. Now, you making a whole bunch of money to get out of the contract does not help out the record company. Not one bit. The record company has never been designed to let you off. The record company has never been designed to let the artist make more money than the record company. If that was the case, record companies wouldn't exist. They wouldn't been going on for hundreds of years. That's not supposed to happen. Michael Jackson sold all those records and everybody thought Michael Jackson was making more than the record company. That's the illusion. But the reality is they're working off loans. It's like when you're paying off a car. How many people actually own a car that they drive? Very far and few. And if you're close to owning your vehicle, they offer you another car, a newer car. Or you've had the car for so long, it's time for a new car. Right when you're at the cusp of paying off old car. They're venomously coming after you because they know you're close and they want to stick you in something brand new. Don't you want to be in something newer? So they can get you back in another loan. So you can continuously pay on that loan. That's the same thing in the music business. They want to continuously have you owing them. That's how you get locked on a label. And many of these artists say, man, that ain't gonna never happen to me. It happens to them too. More than you know. There are so many people that contribute to records that don't even get paid. They be like, look, I got to sue to get my money. And the artists don't have the money. The record label will be like, look, on the paperwork, it says I pay this guy. He's listed as producer. But I worked on the record, though. I did all the work. You're going to have to take that up with that person because the record label is like, we paid him. You got to somehow work that out with him on how that works. But on the paperwork, it says we pay him, not you. This happens plenty of times. Most artists who are in this business can't afford it. Rich people don't get into becoming an artist. Rich people become producers. They produce the records. But even that's a risk. A lot of people think they get on the production side of it and I'm just going to executive produce the record. Yeah, but that normally takes a cost. You know, you're putting up a lot of investment. You're making a lot of things happen for this record to happen. If the record don't blow, what happens to the producer? He's just out of a lot of bread, isn't he? So you need to be backing the right horse and doing everything possible in your power to make sure that thing takes off. Now we know this video isn't going to travel the way it should because for some reason I've been spammed up the wazoo. Well, Jewel has so many other things going on, so it's that's different. She was already in a bad situation with a company that really didn't generally, have or promote female anything. It's like the women there was just made to support the men. There's really misogynistic things going on over there, but they weren't in the female R&B bracket, which this is how Bad Boy was toppling them. They weren't making female R&B records, and that was a mistake by Death Row. Huge mistake. Yeah, I won tonight, but I lost on that game. At the last minute, I took the Warriors in 11, knowing I should have took the Pacers. Well, see, here's the problem. Artists get stuck in their own mind when they try to get into the room of what's really important. Audience growth. Growing your audience. That is the first and foremost, the most important thing you could ever have happen to your channel. Anything that you're doing, you have to learn how to grow your channel. Well, now it's your channel, but normally it's your audience altogether. As a music artist, the record company, they're trying to find ways to grow your audience so people can come and buy the more records or whatever. So the record contracts, the artists are basically getting paid less than 5 cents on the dollar. Depending on who you are, the most artists were getting paid 12 cents. So every record you're selling, you're getting paid 12 cents. 50 Cent was getting paid 5 cents a record. Let that sink in. 50 Cent, one of the biggest artists in the world, was getting paid 5 cents a record. Now imagine that. 5 cents a record. Well, the thing is that you want to make sure you get a chance to control your side of the business. And when you can control your side of the business as an artist, you want to get into producing your own records and being able to make money off your own records. And the more you can make off your own records, the better off you're going to be independently. You look at Lupe Fiasco. People like, I feel sorry for Lupe. I feel sorry for Lupe. Lupe is probably making more money now than he did when he was successful. Well, he's popular. You look at someone like Tech Nine. Tech Nine knows the music business, and he's basically cut out all of the middlemen and all the major record labels, and basically said, "I really don't need you. I have my fan base already." And for his audience, he doesn't really need the magazines. He's already respected by the artists, and he can get appearances on his records and clearances for those by some of the major artists in the game. And they don't even know how he's done it, but he can fill a stadium full of people, white, black. They're all in there. He got one of the world's greatest artists in there painting while he's rocking out to music. It's well, now everything is technical. Everything is literally very technical with the language, everything. So when you start asking yourself questions about the business and you're looking at, okay, let's get into the monetization now. Monetization is like, okay, now that's when it's digital. Now that all music is basically all digital, physical copies, the mechanical royalties for that is going to be minimal now. So now the game and scope has changed in the record business. But still, artists are stuck on labels. You look at people like Tiger. Tiger is stuck on everything he's doing now. If it wasn't for Taste blowing up, he'd probably still be out the game. He's making some money back, and he's still owed. Because artists sometimes have bad vices. They spend a lot of time making music, and that costs money. Studios cost money. Where you want to live your lifestyle, that's going to cost money. You're on the public eye. Now you got to have security or family or friends around you. You got to take care of them too. That costs money. Everything, they got to look the part. So they got to have the clothes and the jewelry. That costs money. You're on so many different loans that you're so far in the hole. Yeah, well, Young Dolph was one of the smart ones because they were able to make it in the digital era. See, in the digital era, you have a lot more creativity and it's more fair play than signing with major labels. They're trying to grasp it now, but you can make yourself huge on a record contract and never blow, but can blow on the internet. But at the end, untimely, they seem to have beef that's created with people that you don't know, invisible people, when you do all this digital stuff. So you become a target in some of these people's cities, or somebody just want to get publicity off doing harm to you. Be like, I threw a brick at so and so car. He ain't do nothing. And all of these things can hurt your audience or grow your audience. Getting your money stolen from you in the process of you barely making money. That happens from managers. It happens from people in the record company, your own record label. You just saw Big Sean sit there and say Kanye West owed him $6 million. That the company Universal paid out the money to the record label, but Big Sean never got that money. And you're saying like, man, how did $6 million go by and he not know it? Like that literally sounds crazy. That 6 million records could go by and no one would notice. Well, the reason why that happens is because, well, that's normally the case when you sign to another artist. That's like rule number one. Try never to sign to another artist. If an artist runs his own label and you want to be on his label, don't do it. If you can. Most people, they think, hey, this is my shot. If I get on his label, man, this is it. You know, everybody know him. He's a big artist. It's all about him. He's thinking about, I got to blow me up and how you could probably help me blow. That's how he's standing, thinking about it. What's up, Goo? I knew you'll be here. But I knew they weren't going to send out notifications for this when you start talking music business. That ain't going to be something they want to hear. Oh, no. They know 10 times out of 10 almost, nobody's going to document the creative process of making their records. When you're writing down the cost of every single thing that's going on, keeping up with receipts, all of these things, the record company can come in and charge you for stuff you don't even know what they're charging you for. You've been paid 2, 3 times for the same damn thing. Look, Rick Ross, Rick Ross is making money, but he's also in debt. He got to pay taxes on that big gigantic mansion he got, the Vander Holyfield money trap. So That taxes alone is going to break you every year. Then he overspends on unnecessary things. So him having part ownership in restaurants and his other investments that help cover a lot of the liabilities he had. So his outside investments was enough to keep revenue coming in for him. But he got so many people eating off him. He has to pay Jay-Z and Diddy. Both of them have him by the balls. So he made all his money off his artists from MMG. That's where he was making, like Wale and Meek and all them. He was eating off those guys because they told him, hey, look, you're not finna eat off no Rick Ross records. But he got to keep putting out records every year. He's finna put out another album because he got to. None of his albums are selling, but he got to keep putting them out there. And they was like, man, Rick Ross ain't never had a platinum album, have he? He never sold 1,000,000 records. Why? I thought he would sell 1,000,000 records. Like, why he can't sell 1,000,000? He has some hits. The reason why, see, he's been making the same song since the first album. Nothing new. And he's like, I'm in court with a label right now in New York. Man, good luck, Goo. A lot of times, these record labels, all these other companies, what they will do is they'll bleed you out. They'll know they're in the wrong and will sue you anyway, just to bleed you out of money. And then they will drop the case. Now, it's best to stay independent. Pretty much in this business, the way it's designed, it's a grind, but it's the best way to come out of it. Because signing to a major now, as much of the majors are, and what they've transitioned to digitally, they're controlling the outlook of the music now. They're trying to control, like, say, your YouTube channel. They will pay people to basically sabotage independent artists' channel and promote their artist channel. Now, what you've been seeing is a lack of creativity amongst the new artists. So you have to listen and learn what resonates with your audience. This is what tanked a lot of the hip hop record, like rap labels, if you want to call them that, like Loud Records. They signed a bunch of artists. Like they had M.O.P., they had every artist from the streets. But when you kept signing and signing and signing these artists, he's thinking like, oh man, we're gonna have a bunch. All these artists is gonna blow. They had the Alcoholics, they had everybody over there. But the label didn't have the resources basically to make those albums blow to where they should have been. Like Coast to Coast by Alcoholics was classic. But those albums just didn't get to where they should have been. So a lot of artists over there that got signed to Loud Records and got deals that probably shouldn't have. And it bankrupted the company. The company went bankrupt because they're putting all this money into these projects and making no money off of it. Meanwhile, Wu Tang and Mobb Deep are bringing in the money for the label. Guru said he audited Loud and Sony Records over Big Pun catalog, waiting on the numbers now. Good luck from that. That's gonna take a lot of work. Pun sold over 1,000,000 records at one time, yeah. Well, to grow your audience, you have to listen and learn what resonates with them. You want to find out what they listen to, research, doing surveys. You got to find out what they're really listening to and how it connects with them and seeing what songs that they like. See, most of these artists now, they don't have a follower. Their own family don't listen to them. So they don't have any audience. And to get a record deal, you got to have some type of following. Why would they invest money into an artist just because he can rap? You don't have any connection to anything. You got to find a way to connect with the audience. If you don't find a way to connect to the audience, you're just another person just scamming for their attention. So you got Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, and all of these different type of monetizational ways to get paid. But you got to do like thousands and thousands of views. I mean, not views, but just plays to get paid. Or like to make like $1. You need like thousands and thousands of plays. But they could say, okay, all right, that's cool. I got thousands of plays. How does Diddy own Rick Ross? Easy. He came in for a percentage of what Jay-Z had. Jay-Z brought Rick Ross over to Diddy. Diddy and Meek Mill was brought over there. And they was finna make them Tupac and Biggie all over again. Then y'all see how this is why 50 and Diddy fell out the last time they did, because he went to go help Rick Ross. When Rick Ross was finna be out of the business, 50 Cent had him defeated. He was done. And Puffy offered him a lot. I gotta get rid of this guy. This guy is costing me money. And he's like, you want to help me out? And Diddy was like, I could do something with him. And sure enough, Diddy redesigned Rick Ross. Next thing you know, I'm Big Meech, Larry Hoover. He was like, who is this dude? oh, oh, trying to use Biggie's cadence, everything, trying to sound like Big. Yeah, I was not happy when Diddy did that. He even had him wearing the B on the shirt like Biggie. It was it was retarded. A lot of people never liked Ross. Well, all the other what they call ancillary things that you need to get taken care of. Like you got to register for your royalties and all of these different things. Like, okay, the money's coming in, like, but can I get all my royalties that's owed to me? I know I promised you something, but I got to get my royalties. I got to fill out the paperwork. You got to know how to do all of these things, or having basically someone who understands that business side of it on how to collect your royalties. Because it's complicated with all the digital affairs. You think it'd be simple, it is not simple. 50 Cent don't have to make another album. See, that's the beauty about it. You know, you look at 50 Cent, the majority of his money he made was outside of the music business. Or the music business was like the vehicle for him to make more money. He started making money off investments, his vitamin water investment, which was basically connected to his music. So basically, the music was the advertisement, the connection with the audience. You see, he's got his audience and his fan base. So he didn't make a lot of money off those records. The record company made a killing off the records, but they paid all the money in marketing. So if let's say 50 Cent didn't sell but 1 million records, and they put about almost 15 million into promoting 50 Cent, it was a massive budget because they knew the 50 Cent wave was huge. The talk, everybody, New York was already there, but the rest of the world was just catching up. So they rode that buzz. 50 Cent had a Capitol Records contract offer and everything else. So it wasn't like Dr. Dre was the only ones that was gonna sign him. He had companies that were willing to sign him. Like he was gonna be a member of Desert Storm. Like DJ Clue wanted to sign him, make him a member on Desert Storm, and he was putting together a deal and trying to get some money together to for a signing bonus to get 50 over there with them. So it was a lot of people getting ready to give 50 Cent money. He just like, this is Eminem, this is Dr. Dre, is the best, thing for me. They were wasting Tupac's music. I don't think he would approve with the way his music was distributed to the world. That was not the plan he had when he made the music. I don't think 50 Cent has ever made a bad album. Period. I don't know. When you sign these deals, you would think, like, look at Kanye West. Kanye West sold so many records, you would be dizzy. But Kanye West didn't make his money off of music. He never recouped his royalties. He never had anybody. He's suing EMI right now. He's got an ongoing lawsuit that's been going on for like 3, 4 years, trying to get royalties back. But why is he doing that? It's because nothing was ever concrete put in place saying this is what it is. Look at YouTube. YouTube didn't push this video at all, mainly because it said music business. And everybody know the stringent business, and you see what happened with Chance the Rapper, how Chance really made his money outside. He knew how his father's a politician, so he knew how to get him out of it. Um, you got boy band groups, how the boy band groups basically they didn't make any money. NSYNC, how they got ripped off. They were only getting like $10,000. You saw New Edition had to break up and split up to get their money because together as New Edition they were screwed in a record deal. Then they got with Puff, and that was the first time they ever made any real money. Well, you got to look at companies like where there's no more records, there's no more CDs. You had the fall of the compact disc. Like compact disc was going on for a long time. And I remember Bill Gates was surprised people were still using discs when he's like, I got a flash drive that I can insert in my television and have over like 1 million movies, like thousands and thousands of movies on one drive on a microchip. I could put movies on there. He's like, and I don't understand how people are still using disc. That's limited technology because there's only so much room you could put on a disc. Like all the information is limited. You can't grow it. That disc is it. We got to get away from that. This was many moons ago. And I was like, Bill Gates already got this in his house. This is before. Now we got it in our house every day. Bill Gates had this. I'm saying this was like 2003 and 4 when he was talking about this. And he had flash drives inserted right into the TV. Now the CDs, waves, the digital compact disc. It actually was CDs out in like the 80s. People just didn't know. Like 86 and 87, they had compact discs, mostly laser discs. Then in the 90s, it started to grow. And its biggest time ever was in 2000. In 2000, the record sales were almost dismal. Everything was CD. Gotta get a CD. Cassette tapes was a thing of the past. CD, CD, CD. Portable CD players, walking with them. People's jogging with their CD players. That was the worst ever because a CD player, it just keeps skipping. So you can never have a good run with it. And then it started to die. And around 2005 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10, you start seeing the decline, the steady drop. As in the 2000s, the MP3 started to get introduced. And that's how Napster shot to the top. Was introducing the MP3 file wave. And once that was introduced, and how all these people was put on a playlist, you could just rip music from here, 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 here. And now they found record labels had to get involved. Well, Universal, Sony, and Warner are the major three. They're the only three major labels now in music. You know, they just absorbed one of the other ones. In the end, it'll probably be Warner and Universal in the end, but Sony Music is still sticking around. Now, the reason why those three majors stick around is because music is not their only thing. They're entertainment. Universal movies, Sony movies, Warner Brothers movies. So that strengthens the music because you have music soundtracks. You have a lot of array of shows or plays, symphony records, all different groups of records, which strengthen the music division. And, you know, that's how that goes. Oh yeah, each company owns about 50 million record labels in there. All these little small labels, it all kicks back up to Universal. Record companies, like look at Nicki Minaj. They start putting money into Nicki. They dressed her up. They put her in dyeing all this hair and all these things, and they promoted her to build her audience. Well, you get an advance for a new artist. Normally they would get an advance, right? Yes, somewhere from 50 to let's say $350,000. You get a recording budget. It depends on what kind of artist you are. You can get anywhere from 120,000 to 500,000 to $1 million. I've seen $1 million recording budget. Then you get video production for your music videos. That could be anywhere from 60,000 to 500,000. Depends on the music video. You might have a tour. If you're big enough, then you get tour support. You get some money for your tour supporting group. That's anywhere from 60,000 to 200,000. Marketing and promotion. You get, depends on the artist. They'll spend 200,000 to about maybe $1 million promoting. Some it's a lot higher. This is the basis. So for every new artist that they are acquiring, they're spending about $2 million or more investing into the artist. Now, the money that you're being advanced, you can get that back in royalties. Takes time, but you gotta get it back in royalties. Well, hopefully, you become a major artist somewhere like Jay-Z or Nas. That's your hope. To where you have staying power, you have your core audience. So even though these younger guys don't really know of Nas music like that, some of them they know Nas. So his name is a commodity that you could attach to brands, investments, because hey, that's a guy that we could make money off of, or people know him. They might not have even listened to his music, but they know he's made these songs before, and they know of him. So that these people might be interested in our product because, hey, we got Nas. Yeah, I'm tired, man. Had a long day. I mean, I've seen rappers get an advance, take the money and buy their mama a house. I mean, seriously. We made it, moms, and they buy their mama a house and move their mom to a big house, get her a car and everything. They move, they move their mom to a house, hoping that their album is gonna do something to bring in the money, and it don't. And They end up having to get out of the house, everything up. It's terrible. Terrible. Look at Joe Budden on Def Jam. All these artists was on the video game, the Def Jam. What was that game? When they had all the rap artists fighting each other, and those rappers weren't even getting money off of it. They weren't even getting paid. Their music was being played on it and everything. Def Jam Vendetta. That's what it was. Yeah, man, I'm finna go and lay it down. Ah. Ah. Yeah, I mean, y'all love to talk music business, so trying to tell you, people just, you gotta, in this game, it takes a lot. It's a single man's game. This is not for a married man. Because to be successful in this business, you gotta move, 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 move. You gotta be out there. You gotta be ready to go with the times. What you did yesterday don't count. What you did today is gonna count. What you do tomorrow, that's what's gonna count. Right. Ludacris didn't have to make another record. He chose to make another record because one, he had time in between projects, so he did that Ludaversal, but he ain't put out an album in so long. He just dropped it. He didn't even go through any marketing or nothing. I remember when he dropped that Ludaversal, and he basically just went kind of corporate on everybody. And this was not the Ludacris his fans grew up with. This wasn't DTP Ludacris. This is, I'm driving, I'm flying jets Ludacris, and people didn't want to hear that Ludacris. So, not his fans. Peace be on to you too, my brother. I'm gonna get out here and get some sleep.